Hi, everybody. It's episode 379 of PodQuest again.
Hey, he did it right this time. He being Walnut.
It's Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. I am Chris. With me is Droo.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Hi, I'm here.
I already asked you guys how you're doing, but it's not in the recording, so how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Still flustered.
Look,
Yeah, but at least you hit record this time. That's the important part.
and this clap was fucking in sync. Look at that thing.
It was.
The first one was better.
The
first one was better.
Like, this one's literally directly in the line. Look at
Mine looks like it's a little bit before you guys, but the other one, all three of them were just right in the line.
Mine looked all in the line to me as well.
So we do redundant recording. So we record with Zencastr, and then we also record locally, because locally it's a little bit better quality. And somebody forgot to hit record on their Audacity. So we had to redo that intro. Luckily it was only the "how you guys doing" bit before he realized.
Yeah. It was literally like, as you're saying "how we doing," and I'm like, oh fuck, wait, I was supposed to do this. Click. Wait, now we're missing stuff. So I gotta say it anyway. But
it's all right. So when we were recording over the weekend for bonus action. Patreon.com/OneQuest if you want to listen to that sooner. The very last part at the end, I was getting ready to hit stop, so like I had moved the mouse over, and my finger slipped, and I hit stop too early.
Oh boy!
And then immediately hit record again. So there was like it worked out perfectly though, because you did something and you were just like kind of dragging out what you were saying. So it like cut you off like a fraction early. And then by the time it picked back up, somebody else was talking, and it was just, I couldn't actually find it while listening back to it. I'm like, man, that worked out really well.
Yeah. Yeah, you got lucky. And just think, Cobb, that was us all sober after 5 hours. Wait until we are drinking if we have a night session or a post-New Year's session.
Or a New Year's Day session.
A New Year's Day session. Pretty much a Saturday session. Yeah, it's gonna be that. I will admit, this last session was such a blast. Like, I had a good time the first one, but this time it was like a lot more fun because we're all like getting into the method of things. And
you guys seem to be doing better. Rich, you need to get better though. You need to get good.
Look, it's that intro. I have been recording podcasts for, how long has this podcast been going on? 5-6 years?
Since 2014.
Since 2014, so
7.5.
7 years, almost 8. I'm still never going to get good at intros or at remembering that we're recording and stuff. Trust me, it's just never going to happen.
Well, to be fair, how many times have you introed this show?
This show, never. Actually, none of my shows ever. It's just bonus action. It's the first time I'm full-time, like, starting host, I guess, or whatever. Or opening host, I guess.
You would think, though, with how many times you've rewatched Critical Role, you'd have that, like, DM intro just down by now.
Well, that's the thing. I am not a Matt Mercer. I am probably more a Ashley Johnson or Laura Bailey when it comes to stuff like that. And you being a new Critical Role watcher will find out what I mean by that. I'm just, like, when it comes to just opening, I'm always a little disorganized, and then I get my head into it.
I feel like you would honestly, and I know you keep saying you're going to do this, you would really benefit from just getting yourself a better tablet that is actually functional.
It is, I'm working on it. Probably gonna, I'm hoping Cyber Monday I can get something decent and new and works well and stuff. I also want to try to incorporate like background music and whatnot in the game that I can't do with just my dinky little iPad mini.
That also becomes very complicated because then we also have to run stuff to the mixer, and unless everyone wants to start bringing headphones and wearing headphones,
yeah, I know,
they're not going to be able to hear it.
Yeah, but it sometimes help with ambiance. But...
And we're still trying to get everybody like to actually talk into the microphone.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. We're all getting there though.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, no one is so bad at it that they're not being picked up. So that's the important thing. Yeah. I think that the person I had to like mess the volume with the most was Sean, because he had the mic just slightly off to the side, and he talks a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So it was just, all right, I'm going to just crank you up a little bit higher, and now everything's okay.
Yeah. That switchboard is a great thing. But we've got PodQuest now to do, and not bonus action.
Don't you try and steer this show in a direction. You don't host this one. You
I don't
D&D shit in a direction.
Yeah, I know.
But what's on the agenda, Rich?
On the agenda, there's stuff about music, stuff about Blizzards, stuff about decays of states, stuff about Xbox anniversary streams. Oh my god, that one was so long. And we're probably going to get a chance to talk about recasting of potential characters. And more stuff. Oh my god, it's all long stuff. And then a discussion on movies that Cobb watched. And then a reminder on book club as well. Oh my goodness, we haven't had that many pages in so long.
Well, so I was trying to make it a little bit easier, and including blurbs from the actual articles I was reading.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just either going off of memory or like tabbing between things.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. Though I didn't do that for the Activision Blizzard stuff, which I probably should have. But anyway, Drew, you went to a bunch of concerts.
I went to 3 concerts last week. So all that, if we want to go back even a little bit more, I saw Rain as well, the Beatles tribute band.
Oh, they're actually really good. I've seen them a couple times.
One, I didn't realize they were American.
Yeah, they're from like Vegas.
Well, they're from all over. Currently, the guy
I meant they play out of Vegas most often, I guess. Was
okay, fair.
Or they're based out of Vegas, I guess is the best way to put it.
Don't they have like a residency sometimes in Vegas? Or something?
I think so. They're also like they're like a Japanese like idol band. Like they just cycle people in and out as like people retire or don't or like whatnot.
The guy
they've been going for like 20 years.
Yeah, the guy that's currently John is from Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But anyway, so went to that, and then last week I saw on Sunday it was War on Women, who are like a punk band, female-fronted punk band, who opened for Alkaline Trio and Bad Religion, which was a pretty awesome show.
I've always wanted to see Alkaline Trio. I forgot that they were playing in Philly.
Yeah, that was up at the Met, which I had never been to, which it's a really nice place. I mean, it was an opera house, so surprise.
Yeah.
It's really
nice. Is that the one in Center City, or is that like the one that's like outside of the city?
No, it's up Broad Street a little bit. It's a little like north of Center City.
Okay. I've never been there either, but I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, it's like I forget how many blocks north of like Spring Garden, but it's like it's north of City Hall, up Broad Street, but before you're getting to like Temple and whatnot.
Okay.
Then Thursday I went to the Union Transfer to see Milo and Bad Bunny, or Beach Bunny rather, not Bad Bunny.
Never heard of either of them.
Those are newer bands. I mean, the lead singer in Milo is only 20. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, like, they were both fantastic. Like, Beach Bunny is this, like, poppy rock band, like, little bit of the, like, kind of surfer-y sound on the guitar, you know, that, like, not quite ska, but...
Okay, yeah.
For their last song, they had us do a Wall of Death.
Nice.
It was pretty hilarious.
That's the dumbest thing in the world. I love it.
It was great. It very fit with the opening of that song because it's about being mad at a boy. But like that show definitely tended to skew younger in age and probably a little more heavily on the female in the audience. And so like the lead singer is a girl and she's like, all right, we're going to do a Wall of Death. And everyone's just pushed to the sides. And like me and the person I went with, we were kind of in the middle to begin with. So like as we went over to our left, like we were on the outside edge, or at least I was, of the wall. And like I'm looking over and there's just like 5 like teenage girls. And then this one big dude who like a little bit smaller than me. And then right next to me are just like 4 small girls. And I'm like, all right. And then me and this other dude across the way, like make eye contact. And I'm like, all right, you and me, like don't fucking run into anyone else. And he was like patting his chest, like to do a chest, like know that he wanted to do like run and jump and do a chest bump. And I'm like, all right, I got you. And so that's what we did.
Nice.
And then the next night at the Foundry at the Fillmore, which is like the upstairs, really tiny venue there. Dollskin, who's a bunch of younger, mostly female, punk band. Then a band called Bad Cop, which was like middle-aged women punk band, and it like had the weird feeling like it was like if you told me the people in Bad Cop were the moms of everybody in Dollskin, I'd have believed you. Like that was the age difference between those two bands. Like,
oh wow!
But like they were both awesome, and then Anti-Flag was the headliner for that show, and they were crazy good.
They put on I saw them with Flogging Molly in 2018, and they put on a really good show. I like Anti-Flag a lot.
Yeah, they were really good. And apparently going on tour with them is this thing called hold on, let me double check what it was because I bought some other merch. Punk Rock Saves Lives. They go on tours with different bands and have the bands pick like a charity to put money towards or something that they want to support. And they were doing signups for the bone marrow donation list.
Oh, that's cool.
And I would have signed up, but apparently if you have sleep apnea that requires a CPAP machine, you are ineligible.
Really?
Yeah. Although, and like they were saying that it's not the way bone marrow transplant stuff used to be done. It's a little less invasive now, apparently. But in any case, I couldn't do it. But I bought a new lanyard and a sticker and a mask from them for like $10 to all go towards their charity and whatnot.
That's cool.
Nice.
So yeah, I saw a lot of punk this week.
Yeah. I actually just saw that in April, Census Fail and We Came as Romans are playing the Electric Factory.
Mm-hmm.
And tickets go on sale, I think, on Friday or next Friday. But I might look and see how much those tickets are. Because I only ever saw Census Fail like one time at a Warped Tour, and it was not good because it was Warped Tour.
They were fucking really good when I saw them at the Electric Factory.
Well, I remember you saying that, and it's like, maybe it was just, it was 112 degrees in July, and most things aren't good in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I remember seeing, what's it called? What is that band? Run to the Hills.
Iron Maiden.
And it was like the hottest day of the year. And the show was great, but the experience sucked. Because it was like this is like, it's always in my mind when I think about this show, was, like, I'm all the way, it was at, was it the BB&T now or whatever, the Twitter Center, whatever it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the grass all the way near the back, and so you had to watch the screens to actually see what was going on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And even on those, like, shitty, low-def screens, he at one point grabs a shirt and twists, and you can see the waterfall of sweat coming on those shitty screens. That's how hot and terrible it was then. And it was like, it was them and, Alice Cooper, I believe.
Oh, that's quite a show.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else was there. It was a really good show, but it was just, yeah, when you're in heat like that, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Man, I just had to double check because I couldn't remember what it was actually currently called. And like I always forget just how many fucking names the BB&T place has had.
Was it on like 6 or 7 now?
1, 2. So I guess theoretically it's 4, but I believe it was. I think it's 5. I think it's actually 5 because I think it was originally the Blockbuster Music Center. And then became the Blockbuster Sony Music Entertainment Center.
Okay.
And then because it was the E Center.
Right.
That's what everyone called it. And then it became the Tweeter Center in like the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And then a few years after that became the Susquehanna Bank Center. And then BB&T purchased Susquehanna Bank in like 2015. Yeah. And it became the BB&T Pavilion.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I've never seen shows at it as the Tweeter, but I know it as the Tweeter.
So like really? The Tweeter is what it was when I went to it like the most. Because like it was the Tweeter Center when I was going to Warped Tour every year. So.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I think I maybe only went to it once or twice while it was the Susquehanna Bank Center.
I don't even.
I don't go there. Like, I don't like that venue.
No, it sucks, honestly.
Like, I honestly prefer going there for winter concerts where it's just indoor.
I went to one winter concert there and will never go to an inside concert there again. It was the fucking worst.
I mean, it's still not great, but when it's open up, like, the lawn sucks there. The lawn's just the absolute fucking worst.
Oh,
I'd
1,000%.
I'd rather just stay home and listen to like the music on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
But at least when you're inside and it's closed, it generally sounds a little bit better.
I'm going to tell you that is incredibly dependent on where you are.
Oh, I mean, that's fair. But like, I have been in the actual like standing room and it's been decent. And I've been in the seats a couple of times and like it's never been bad. But I know like there are some places where it is just bad. How
far back were you in the seats?
I'm usually in like the more front section. So like there's the one walkway that kind of goes through the middle and
right.
And that separates you from like the back of the inside and the front of the inside, and then in front of that is the standing room. I'm usually in that like front middle section. So like the
in front of the soundboard.
I was gonna say, yeah, the soundboard is usually behind me, so like it is actually balanced to be going behind me.
Yeah, don't ever sit in the back section because those doors are metal and all the sound vibrates them and reverberates off them, and it was literally the shittiest concert experience I've ever had.
I went when I went and saw Coheed and Mastodon. We were seated almost right behind the sound booth, and I was like, "This is a perfect spot." And this is where I try to sit anytime I get concert tickets, is behind the sound booth. It's like you get the best sound because that's where they're engineering the sound from.
Mm-hmm.
I was at that concert too. That one was at least like the doors were open, so you weren't dealing with the reverb off the doors.
But I went to the Taste of Chaos tour back in 2008.
So it was the Susquehanna Bank Center then.
Yeah, it was an SB Center then. But we were in front of where we were like the section in front of where the sound booth would be, but off like to the side a little bit. And I thought that was great, and that was all indoors because it was like a mid-October, November show, something like that.
I feel like I think I went to one of the Taste of Chaoses. I just don't know which one.
A lot of people went to the 2008. I went with Brian separately from everyone else, but I believe at least Anthony, Shahid, and Brandon went. You might have been there too, because that was the one that had Muck.
No, that I definitely didn't go to that one.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. I'm looking at it. Atreyu, Story of the Year, As I Lay Dying, Muck, Midas, and no, that's it, I guess. Because it was like there were like 2 or 3 Japanese bands, and then the rest American, and so like they would alternate between the Japanese and the English band. It was really good. It was a really good show. It was like Muck's first or second show ever in the United States or something like that. Or second ever tour.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might have went to like one of the first ones, like 04, 05, 06, something like that.
I don't know. I believe Taste of Chaos isn't that
they ran?
Maybe 05.
05 to 2010.
Okay, yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, I mean we've talked about it before. Like concerts are fun. I like concerts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Pro music podcast over.
It's nice. It's nice that the concerts are happening again.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I've missed them so much.
Yeah. Now it's just a matter of like realizing when there's a band coming through that like I would actually want to pay the money to go see.
Yeah, I've wound up just going to a whole fucking bunch of random shit, and then winding up going, oh hey, this fucking band was great.
Yeah, like I usually like to go like the one you went to that was Anti-Flag. Like I would have gone to see Anti-Flag because I like them a lot. And then like if the opening bands were good, it's like okay, cool. Like I'm going to go like add their music to my playlist. Like I do that. That's how I usually do things at concerts.
Mm-hmm. I mean that's how you should do things at concerts. I've been to concerts with some people that like they it was one of the Foo Fighters concerts I went to. They only cared to see the Foo Fighters. So like, and it was in DC that we went to it because it was like their anniversary big like festival show that they were doing with a whole bunch of bands. It was an all-day thing. And these people I went with, like we decided to get a hotel room so that we didn't have to drive home that night. And so we get to the hotel room, we check in, and they're like, all right. And they sit down and relax. I'm like, guys, the show started 20 minutes ago. It's going to take us an hour to get there. Maybe we should get there. Like, why? I'm like, what do you mean, why? Well, the Foo Fighters don't go on until 9 o'clock. I'm like, these are $150 tickets. I'm seeing the entire festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that ticket price, 100%.
Yeah. It's like they were 100% dead set on just chilling until Foo Fighters. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, dude, there's so many good bands. There's, like, Joan Jett was there, I believe. What was his name? I saw him at Firefly as well. He's like the jazz guitarist. Or he's like a jazzy guitarist. Can't remember his name right now, and it makes me so mad because I can't think of it. And then there was I think Ice Cube was there.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Let's see if I can just find this show online. Foo Fighters DC show. Not TV show, DC show. Let's see. So your All-Star DC gig. Let's see. This is also the Broken Leg Tour. Or the Break a Leg Tour.
Oh, where he had like the throne and everything.
It was the first show with the throne. It was LL Cool J. It wasn't Ice Cube.
Okay.
But let's see. This show. Trombone Shorty is who I was trying to think of. Who isn't even a guitarist, he's a trombonist. But, Joan Jett, or just Hart in general, I guess, was there.
Well,
Buddy
okay.
Guy.
Joan Jett and Hart are totally different.
Grohl assembled a diverse bill in which his act was the only one fronted by a white man. Joan Jett and the Women of Heart brought the stadium to life with their classic rock staples. So,
okay.
Both Joan Jett and Hart.
Okay.
Buddy Guy, Gary Clark Jr., Trombone Shorty, LL Cool J. It was just a fantastic, like diverse show of so many different kinds of music and musicalities that it was just like, it was so good. And we missed like the first 2 or 3 bands because they were in no rush to get to the show that we spent all that money on because they just wanted to see Foo Fighters. I mean, like, the worst part about that was like their umpteenth time seeing the Foo Fighters, which at that point, like, let me tell you, Foo Fighters are great. I've seen them 3 times. I don't ever have to see them again because every show is the same show because they've been around for so long. They play all the hits and then they play 1 or 2 songs from the new record and that's it. I don't need to see them again.
Which, I mean, that's usually how that goes. I mean, that's how Green Day is, too, but, like, I keep going to see Green Day.
Yeah.
Man, I saw fucking Boys Night Out 13 fucking times. Like...
And you know what? There was all those times where they would play something new. Well, not new, but, you know, something that they didn't always play.
Yeah,
but exactly. also, Boys Night Out wasn't Foo Fighters level, so I'm sure the tickets weren't $50, $60 a pop.
No,
like,
but
they're probably, like, a reasonable price.
Also, to be fair, I did go to concerts to not see any of the bands except for one. Like, I went to a Plain White T's concert to see Boys Night Out. Drew, I think you went to that one too.
Oh yes, it was me, you, and Anthony.
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
We went to the concert. Boys Night Out opened. We then left the concert.
Yeah, I went to Mayhem Fest, and I think it was like one of the later years of the Mayhem Fest. It might have been the first year. I can't remember. It was at the Electric Factory, and we left after the first headliner because nothing could beat Dragon Force. And it was Kill Switch Engaged, which I'm kind of upset we left.
Yeah,
but
fuck
also,
did you leave? Kill Switch is so good.
Let me finish. I also had the entire crowd fall on my ankles pre-surgery.
Ooh.
Yeah. There was at one point, I don't know what happened, I think a pit opened up or something, but like the entire crowd, everyone just fell and fell and fell onto me. And I was like the last person to fall, and I just had so many people just on my feet that after Dragon Force was over, I couldn't walk. Like, I had to hobble back to the train station, and we took the train. So it took a while to get back there. So it was like, we saw like 2 songs of Kill Switch, and it's like, they were like, you good? You good to walk back? You ready? And I'm like, yeah, I want to see this band, but I'm in pain. I gotta go.
Yeah, that's... I can at least understand that.
Yes, that's fair.
I guess with all of this this concert talk, though, have you guys seen everything going on with that Astroworld thing, like the Travis Scott concert?
Dude, that is fucked up. It is so. Do you know anything about it, Cobb, or have you?
Yeah. So I know the general gist. So Drew, do you know who Travis Scott is?
I know the name, but
He is a rapper.
Yeah.
He apparently headlines this thing down in Texas called Astroworld every year. I don't know how many years it's been going on for, but it's basically it's like a rap version of Warped Tour.
Right.
And apparently, rap concerts now have pits happen at them.
Yeah.
That happened, like a pit broke out at his concert, and people started falling down and literally getting crushed. Yeah. And he saw it happen, and there's a recording of it online where he literally, like, in the middle of the song, doesn't have them stop the music or anything, just goes, "Hey, there's a person on the ground over there," and then just goes right back into the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like,
there's video of people shouting, like, after that, or probably around then, like, "Stop the show, there's people hurt, like, it's horrible. And, like, he like, fed into the chaos during the show, from what I hear. That, like, he feeds on that, and he loves the chaos, and he always, like, tries to promote the chaos, and, like, he wasn't trying to stop the show because it's chaotic and hectic, and that's what he likes. And then you find out, I think it was Monday, that the most recent victim of the show was a 9-year-old child.
There have been several casualties after this. It wasn't just like people got injured, like people died because they were getting crushed and stampled by giant crowds of people that just weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
And it, like, there was a lot of stuff on, like, Twitter and things where, like, people were, like, talking about, like, mosh pits and how they're dangerous and all this stuff. And I saw one going around a whole bunch, and it was somebody that basically tweeted out, it's like, people keep saying mosh pit etiquette. What etiquette? It's just a bunch of people flailing around. And that was followed up by just hundreds of people responding, like, with exactly why they're an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people actually even posting videos of, like, people getting knocked down in crowds and the entire pit immediately stopping and picking them back up, or clearing people out of the way so that somebody could get out of the crowd if they didn't want to be there, or forming circles around people so they could tie their shoe in the middle of a crowd.
Literally saw all those 3 things happen during Anti-Flag.
Yeah, they all happened at the Newfound Glory show.
Yeah.
I've seen pits where people's glasses get flown off and they stop everyone so that they could get their glasses.
Someone dropped their phone during Anti-Flag. Someone picked it up and was like the pit stopped while he was just, like, holding up the phone. No one eventually claimed it, I think he just wound up taking it back to the bar, but, like, they saw a phone on the ground, stopped, like, pick up the phone, tried to find whose phone it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, sorry, Rich, go ahead.
It's like people out there, when they think, like, punk shows or metal shows and rock shows, when they think a pit, they think it's just everyone pushing people, no matter what they want to do, into the pit. And that's not what it is. It's the people who want to go into the pit, go into the pit. People who want to watch the pit will watch the pit. And everyone looks out for each other. Like, that is 100%. You look out for each other.
Yeah, even if you're not in the pit, if you're just in the crowd, like, you're going to get shoved, you might fall down. As soon as you lose balance, though, 8 people are there helping you get back up, whether you're in the pit or not.
That same Mayhem Fest where I had the entire crowd fall on me. Not only was Evan, Anthony, and Shahid trying to pick me up, but, like, 3 other people were getting people up off of me to help me get up because they heard me, like, I was in pain.
Yeah, like, there is occasionally a couple of douchebags in a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, as soon as they get out of hand, somebody, like, knocks them back down into place.
Yeah.
Like, so there is always somebody bigger at the concert to take that douchebag that is just being an asshole and put them in their place without causing any actual harm. And yeah, it's insane, like, kind of the discourse that, like, came out of that. It's like, no, these people just don't know how to fucking act at a concert. This is not how a crowd is supposed to behave. Like, go to any rock show, like punk or metal or anything like that, and watch how the crowd reacts. Like, that's not it. Like, pits aren't that violent. Like, people aren't in there throwing punches. Like, that is actually how you get expelled from the pit, by throwing punches.
At local shows, I've seen punches being thrown and whirlwinds happening, but, like...
Well, no, that's not throwing punches. Like, that's...
No, it's not throwing punches, but it's still... Like, I've seen fists flying but you know what to expect when you go to those shows in those kinds of pits. And if that's not your thing, you step away. It's not like what happened in this Astro Fest or whatever it was. Like, it was just, like, I saw so many people, not even arguing like, oh, pits were dangerous. I saw people arguing, that's the price of entry and going into a concert is something like this. You know, you go to a concert knowing that you could die. And I'm like, no, fuck off. I go to a concert to watch a band play some music and have a good time.
Yeah, like,
I don't sit there thinking, I'm going to die the entire time.
Yeah, I have never felt unsafe in like a punk crowd.
No.
Like, I have never thought that I was going to fall down and get hurt. Like, yeah, like, you might get hurt just by mistake. But, like, again, if you fall down or something happens, there's going to be a bunch of people there trying to make sure that you are okay and help you get out of the crowd if you need to. Like, the people when they were crowd surfing at the Newfound Glory show, like, there were a bunch of people that they got launched in the wrong direction. And, like, the people weren't ready for it. And, like, when those people almost hit the ground, there were a bunch of people diving to catch them so that they didn't land on the ground on their head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I know people were also posting to, like, the tweets kind of, like, against pits, like, videos of concerts, of bands, like, stopping the concert when, like, somebody went down. Like, the one that I saw get posted a couple times was actually a Linkin Park concert where, like, Chester stopped the show because somebody fell down and, like, actually, like, kind of, like, not, like, read the riot act, but was kind of just like, yeah, no, that's not how we do it. Like, if somebody falls down, what do you do? And, like, the whole crowd yelled back, like, help them up.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
I recently saw a video going around from, I'm pretty sure it was like a fucking Slipknot show, of people pushing a guy that's in a wheelchair around in, like, a circle pit. Like, it was the most wholesome fucking thing in the world. Like, this guy, like, is in a wheelchair, can't be in a mosh pit, but, like, had it cleared out, and people were, like, dancing along with him, and it's like, that's what mosh pits really are. Like, not just danger trample fests.
Yeah, it's man, that makes me so mad. But,
well, you want to be mad about something else?
A much lighter topic, right?
Yeah, so how much have you guys paid attention to the Activision Blizzard stuff over the last 2 days?
I hadn't really followed any of it since we heard about the whole, like, bro mentality that was there. What was it, like 2-3 months ago?
It was July.
Yeah, so it was even longer than that. But yeah, I haven't really kept up on it until I started getting tweets and texts about, they're just walking out of nowhere. Like, just everyone decided to walk out, and apparently there was this Wall Street Journal article about what's going on.
Yeah,
the article is why they're walking.
Yeah, well, so there's actually 2 Wall Street Journal articles. So yesterday, what would that have been? Tuesday, November 16th. The Wall Street Journal published an article, basically outlining that Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision Blizzard, apparently knew a lot more about the allegations that have been raised than he let on. That he was not being entirely upfront with board members and shareholders about that stuff, and that he maybe didn't, like, brush them under the rug, but definitely made them less important, including somebody who actually filed a suit against them in, I believe it was 2018, alleging that she had been raped multiple times by her supervisor. And that was eventually settled, like, out of court, but, like, still. And some of the other stuff coming out was that, like, Kotick himself has also been accused of sexual harassment numerous times, along with basically everyone in charge of every one of their studios.
Yeah.
They're in the article, they name a bunch of people. I'm not going to reiterate the names, but there were at least 3 or 4, like, senior members of different studios that either resigned or were let go for behavior. And generally, it was not when the allegations were brought against them. It was sometime after they left for a different reason, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, one guy left because he was having visa problems. Like, not because he was a piece of shit, because he was having visa problems.
Wasn't there someone who, and this isn't to, like, they kind of made the right move. They left because they knew this mentality wasn't going to change.
Yeah, so
and it was a toxic workplace.
That was the recently promoted co-head of Blizzard, I believe she was. let me find the article if I can. Is this the one? Yeah. So Jennifer O'Neill, in August, she was named to be the co-head of Blizzard. And she, I want to say it was just a couple weeks ago, actually. Now, it was basically announced that she was leaving at the end of the year, and that she was apparently very public with the fact that she was brought into this position as co-head, was basically used as like a mascot, and was actually making less money than the man who was also promoted to co-head.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah.
So I found her actual quote. So her quote was, "I have been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against." And that was after she was promoted.
Yeah.
And that she was paid less than her male counterpart at the helm of Blizzard. And the other just wonderful piece of news, I don't know if you guys will remember it, but back in, I want to say it was like July, August, when all this stuff originally came out, there was an email that came out from a female employee at Blizzard basically saying that, like, all of this stuff was bullshit. Like, that what was released by, like, the state of California and everything in their investigation, the actual quote was, "Presented a distorted and untrue picture of our company." And that was from Fran Townsend. I'm not sure what her actual role is at Activision. But anyway, it came out that Bobby Kotick actually wrote that email and then forced it to be sent from her account.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, that guy is a huge piece of garbage. And so when that article came out, over 100 Activision Blizzard employees staged an impromptu walkout. Generally, those things, like, they plan them. Like, it's not just like they don't just do it spur of the moment. Like, it's like, all right, on Tuesday, we're going to do this. And so the fact that they managed to get over 100 people to walk out of the physical campus, as well as people that were still working remote, just stopped working.
Yeah.
And the thing they're demanding is the resignation of Bobby Kotick, and for the two most senior members of the board, I believe, to retire by the end of the year. Because, like, that company is being run by a bunch of just pieces of shit.
Yeah. I always say, like, a single person, what's the word? Why am I blanking on this word? Why am I blanking on a lot of words today? But a single person protesting something and not doing something won't do anything. But at this point, I'm not buying Activision Blizzard games anymore.
So here's the thing, and I've seen a lot of people say this, devs included, from Activision Blizzard Studios. Not buying their games as, like, a protest for this is actually, if anything, going to hurt the developers, like the people doing the work, more than it's going to hurt the company. Because what'll happen is, if that company doesn't make the money they want to make, they're just going to fire all those people that were making the games anyway, because they want to keep paying themselves millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might have been Brian Altano actually tweeted it out yesterday, I believe. Because somebody was basically, like, giving him shit about saying that. And, like, his retort was, Activision had their most successful year ever, like, last year or the year before, and fired 7% of its staff. Like, they don't give a fuck about the people that are doing the work. They only care about their own pockets. So,
yeah,
if you don't buy the games, you're actually just hurting the people that are making them versus the company. And that's the shitty part.
Like, I mean, and I just, that's how I feel about Chick-fil-A. Like, me not going to Chick-fil-A doesn't do anything except take the money and labor away from that store that I go to. So now those people are going to lose hours and money, and not Chick-fil-A, the corporation itself. Like, I that's how I agree. I totally agree with it, but it's like, at this point, when it comes to this bullshit, like, I don't know what else to do, and it's fucking horrible. It's terrible.
No, it is, and it's one of those things where if enough people actually boycotted it, it would have an impact, because the only thing that's going to change for them is if there's and not even boycotting, just enough negative press, like big negative press, not just in the games media, that actually has an impact on their stock. Because I think I read in one of the articles I was reading that their stock did take a 6% hit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess yesterday or this morning. So, like, that was at least something, but, like, it needs to, like, really take a hit for the shareholders to then start demanding changes. Because that's where things will actually happen. if if a high enough percentage of shareholders demand change at the executive level, the company is going to have to look into making those changes because the shareholders are the ones that actually own the company.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like you would need such a high percentage of them to be on the same page, and realistically, the majority of shareholders for a company like that, they don't give a fuck. They're a bunch of old rich white men who literally don't even probably know what they have shares in. They just want their pockets to keep getting stuffed with dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's the bullshit of capitalism. Like I don't know. This shit frustrates me so much. It disgusts me. Like I don't know what else to say.
I mean, rightfully so. There are a couple of I mean, not good things, but at least promising things. In weird ways. So Jason Schreier had a couple tweets in the last few hours. Apparently, I don't know if he got it or if somebody else got it, but there was an email that Jim Ryan, CEO for PlayStation, sent to Sony staff this morning, apparently slamming Activision Blizzard. And in it, he said that they were disheartened and frankly stunned by the week's news, and that they do not believe their statements of response properly address the situation. And then Sony staff actually did confirm with Bloomberg that Ryan said that PlayStation reached out to Activision Blizzard to about the article, asking what they were doing to address it.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't see that a company like Sony would be able to not sell Activision games, but I could see them, if this goes on, gets any worse, I could see them pulling any sort of funding that they give for like Call of Duty.
Yeah,
like pulling their support for that sort of thing. Like they'll still sell Call of Duty because they have to. Like there's no way the people in charge of Sony will let them not do that. But if they can just be like, yeah, well, we're just not going to give you these millions of dollars every year for exclusive content. Like, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah,
that's going to
like all their Halo stuff, and right, Halo or not Halo.
No.
So Destiny is no longer owned by Activision. Bungie split off. God, was that earlier this year or last year? I can't even fucking remember.
That was like 2 years ago.
No, it hasn't been that long.
I'm pretty sure it was like, when did Destiny 2 come out? Wasn't that like 2018?
Yeah, but they split off like 2 years after Destiny 2 came out.
2019.
Yeah, fucking 2 years ago.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was pre-pandemic. Yeah,
it just
like a year after it came out.
It simultaneously feels that long ago and not that long ago.
I mean, if you told me it happened 5 years ago, I'd have fucking believed it. But
yeah, that's insane. 2019. And then, so along with the Sony thing, Schreier also tweeted out employees across Activision, Blizzard, and King is, so if you guys don't know or don't remember, so Activision is kind of like three different entities. There's Activision, which basically does Call of Duty. Like, they own the Call of Duty studios and other things too. And then you have Blizzard, who is Blizzard, and then King is the Candy Crush company.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of are each their own like entities inside of Activision. So employees across Activision, Blizzard, and King tell Bloomberg they were underwhelmed by a series of meetings held today to address the ongoing crisis. Executives repeated talking points and defended Bobby Kotick as calling for his outings grew louder. Each of Activision's three divisions had its own meetings, some more than one, to address the issue. Kotick did not appear, but other executives repeated similar talking points. They said that Kotick would work to regain trust rather than resign, as employees have asked.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then Kotick has also gone on the record of saying that they want to make sure that Activision Blizzard is the most welcoming and inclusive workplace.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I believe I've read in one of these articles, and like I read so many today to try and like get as much of like the full picture as I could, that the entire board is backing Kotick because Kotick has made them billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe it was the initial Wall Street Journal article. Yeah, so in the last 10 years, they went from $14 billion a decade ago to being worth over $54 billion today.
Jesus Christ.
So like, yeah, and like Kotick has been with them since the 90s when he He was one of the people that bought Activision out from bankruptcy in like 90 or 91.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everyone in charge over there, like they're fucking scumbags, and it sucks because the people that are actually making games that like, you know, like we don't play Call of Duty, but millions of people love Call of Duty, and the majority of those millions have no idea what sort of just a disgusting fucking company that is.
Yeah.
And it's not the people making the games, like they're probably generally decent people. Like there's always bad eggs somewhere, but because there's no structure actually keeping them like accountable, they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's the unfortunate thing because, and I think you pretty much kind of said this, like a lot of the Call of Duty players are going to be people that don't care about gaming politics and nerd politics and stuff. They just play Call of Duty because it's the only game they can get into. And so they're just going to keep buying it every year when it comes out, and not be like, oh, well, speak up because of what's going on, because they're not going to know what's going on. Or, on the other side, they're the dude bros that don't give a shit about what the dude bros are doing and support the dude bros. So, yeah, I just alienated a bunch of people who play Call of Duty because a lot of people who play Call of Duty are dude bros. I'll say it right now.
But I mean, honestly, that's not the case anymore. That was 10 years ago. Now just like kind of everybody plays Call of Duty if they like Call of Duty.
Yeah, but like everyone plays Call of Duty if they like Call of Duty. Jordan, you play Call of Duty, but like I honestly, if the games weren't friggin' $70 for a 3-hour single player, I'd play Call of Duty. But like, there's a lot of people out there who just play Call of Duty because that's all they've ever played, and it's so realistic and it's not childish. Like, I'm not saying it's the entire audience. I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of people out there who just don't care and just play the game because it's the game they play.
Oh, 100%. And like it's the game they play, like it's the thing that they have played for years. It's the same way that like there's people that like buy Madden every year, like
Yeah.
And like a decade ago, 15 years ago, the kind of mentality of people that played those games was definitely different. Like they definitely were like the dude bros and the like frat guys and stuff like that. Now it's literally just like it's a lot of people that just want to play games with their friends, and like Call of Duty is just the easiest one. Like they don't have to like really learn any systems or anything like that. Like they've played it for years, so they just kind of keep going with it. And it's honestly it's the most consistently playable one. Like Battlefield just had its like it just had its release this past week, and apparently it's not very good.
Yeah.
Like they were, if you had Game Pass, you could play for like 10 hours, and I downloaded it, and then I saw everyone talk about it. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll wait a little while and see like if they patch some of this shit to make it not a disaster.
Like,
From what I
put in
hear, like,
voice chat, because that's really important in that fucking game.
Yeah.
Is there no native voice chat?
There is no voice chat in the game.
That's I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, like that's Battlefield though. Like they release one game and it's decent, and then they release the next one and it's a fucking shit show. Like EA unfortunately just can't find a stable foot when it comes to that franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah, the games industry is just it's a messy fucking place right now. Just everything's on fire. But speaking of messy places, Drew, you started playing State of Decay too?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. I signed up for that 3 months for $1, and I had seen a little bit of the Nextlander guys playing it, and was interested. Richie, you should play State of Decay too.
Didn't the third one come out recently? Oh no, it is the second one. It came out in 2018.
I think the second one just had like an expansion though.
Yeah, so I believe so.
No, is it like open world survival, or is it like story based, or is it what is State of Decay? Because I've never actually looked into it too much. I do remember a trailer for it. Probably it was State of Decay 2. Like,
Drew,
really interesting.
Before you explain what it is, I'm just gonna explain it like this. It's a Richie game.
Yeah, it is a Richie game, honestly.
There's a lot in that category anymore.
So
no, it's 100% you.
And actually, I will correct my earlier statement. We should play State of Decay 2 because it's fucking online co-op. It's not a survival game like Ark or whatever. It's honestly kind of more like Fallout 4
Okay.
You start out, you pick 2 survivors from, I think there was 3 or 4 options. And then you're like trying to rebuild a settlement in a zombie apocalypse world. And you're finding other survivors and going around gathering supplies to then go back to your base and build like an infirmary and grow plants and, shit like that. And then getting outposts.
Is it story driven or is it just...
There is a
sandboxy
story, but it's a bit more sandboxy. It's a lot more emergent storytelling. Like, you will get a radio call from other survivors out there that want you to come help. And then, like, the characters will all have slightly different traits, and, like, as you gain experience with them and use them, they'll go up rank in your settlement, and then one of them can become the leader, and depending on their traits, there are, like, 4 different classes for the leaders, which open up, like, a different thing they can build in the town. And then also different missions based on what they are.
Okay.
There's permadeath for the characters, and I literally just lost a character earlier. Because our settlement was attacked, and then like I went outside and then got swarmed by too many zombies.
Okay.
And it's a fucking Richie game, but it's really fucking cool.
It's not a game I would ever play, but like it's fun to watch.
Cobb, you should play with us. Let's all 3 play. Fucking, let's all my co-op. Let's go.
No thanks.
Aw, boo.
Well, they did. I guess Juggernaut Edition just came out.
Okay.
It came out in March of last year. Does Game Pass include the Juggernaut Edition, or is it just the base edition? Okay.
I don't really know exactly what difference that makes. Like, I just picked the top option in the campaign option and have played from there. But
I'm just looking at. It looks like it's just State of Decay 2 Juggernaut Edition. Like it was I don't know if it was a free DLC.
Probably.
It might have just been. Like
it was definitely a free DLC. It was like a free patch or whatever.
And it released in March of last year, which that's a little timely. March 2020, a zombie survival game gets released. Oops. But yeah, it has definitely been on my radar. There's a bunch of those, like zombie-esque survival games that have been on my radar. Like, what's the other one? DayZ, which that is a lot more of a Richie game than that one, State of Decay 2. But it is on my radar.
Like, I think State of Decay 2 might even be more. Like, from what I remember about DayZ, like, I mean, essentially that game just turned into a fucking battle royale game. Like, I know.
Yeah, because that's the game that was modded out of Arma, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe.
And it's like is it first or third person? I can't remember. But it's zombie survival. If you're playing on a public server, it's always live. So like if you leave, like you better hope you're in a safe space, because if somebody comes and sees your stuff, they can take your stuff. I would never play on a public server because of that. But it's just like, from what I hear, the like survival in that game is a lot more difficult than in, say, like 7 Days to Die and stuff. But I've been looking for it to come, because it came out in, or official release was December of 2018, and it's still $50 on Steam. $45 on Steam.
Yeah. So I checked. It was a mod off of Arma 2, and the original mod released in like 2013. And I believe, if I remember correctly, because it's not actually in this one, but I think DayZ is the game that PlayerUnknown kind of like modded to like get the foundation of
right.
PUBG.
That sounds right.
It could be. I'm not sure.
I know he was he did modding before PUBG like became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The game's concept design, who had previously Arma 2 and DayZ. Yep. Yeah, so PlayerUnknown had worked on like DayZ and Arma 2 mods before developing it into PUBG as it is.
Yeah, which I did not know that the reason it's called PUBG is because the creator was PlayerUnknown.
Yeah, the game is just called Battleground, but like it's PlayerUnknown's like possessive Battlegrounds.
I did not know that until just now.
Hey, you live, you learn.
But that's also something I didn't, like, here's another thing. Cobb, this might blow your mind, and Jordan, I can't remember if you watched Game of Thrones.
Nope.
But the dragons in Game of Thrones aren't dragons.
No, they're wyverns or whatever.
Wyverns, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I bought a Rhaegal pop and realized that he only has 2 legs and not 4.
Yeah, because their wings are their other hands.
Their
so
wings are their hands / paws / legs.
Yeah, because if you remember, I mean, you don't remember probably, but yeah, he like they use like the tips of their wings to like do things when they're on the ground sometimes.
It wasn't anything I really recognized when watching, and then like I've been watching all of the Ark playthroughs that the Neebs crew does on YouTube on Neebs Gaming, and Ark has wyverns, and like they've been corrected a million times because they always called them dragons, and I'm like, oh right, because the difference between the two is 4 legs and 2 legs, and then I saw the Rhaegal, and I'm like, oh shit, I never realized that. They're called dragons, but they're not. They're wyverns or wyverns.
Yeah, I mean, my argument for that is always like in whatever if the media says it's a dragon, then in that universe it's a dragon. Like
yeah, for sure, but it's still like in fantasy speak at least. It's like that's that's more of like maybe like the D&D DM in me. Like that's a classification you actually have to recognize between dragons.
Oh yeah, and because in D&D they both exist, right?
Yes.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like in a situation like that where both creatures exist and they are different, that's a different story than like Game of Thrones where like they only have the one creature.
Yeah.
And they call it a dragon. So in the Game of Thrones universe, dragons are 2-legged things.
I wonder if that was his original design for dragons. If George R.R. Martin actually wanted the dragons to be wyverns and not dragons.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. I don't remember if they were ever really described like specifically in the books or not. But Drew, anything else you want to talk about with State of Decay?
No, that's pretty much it. I mostly wanted to just shout it at Richie because he should play it. We should play it.
Well, if you had said something like earlier this week, I could have said, well, let's do Work Together Wednesdays on my Twitch, and we could play after we record, but I don't have it installed today, so it's going to take forever to do it. And
it's not that big.
I mean, I don't want to try to install it while we're recording, because that'll mess with the audio and stuff. So I might try to afterwards, but I might also try to stream.
Yeah, like,
right.
it was not Forza level of file.
Which is always a good thing. Did you guys see the 30th anniversary stuff or 20th anniversary stuff for Xbox?
I had it on, and then it was like, oh, it's over?
Yeah, it was disarmingly short. Also, just fun fact, Xbox has now been in the console game longer than Sega ever was.
Wow, really?
Sega made consoles for like 12 years.
No, fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they like the Master
years.
System came out in what, like 88, I want to say.
That sounds probably right.
And then the Dreamcast was discontinued in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, yeah, I was about to say going back 20 years from 2001 would be 1981, and fucking they definitely weren't making consoles in 81. So
yeah, I mean, like Nintendo is the only one that's never going to be beaten, and not console wise, but like they've been around since the 1800s making games. Like,
yeah,
the fact that they've never kind of leaned into that for like some sort of like big birthday, it's like, yeah, it's our 130th birthday making games. Like, it's not a lie. But yeah, so Xbox, the original Xbox was released on November 15th, 2001. So this past Monday on November 15th, they had a short little anniversary stream. And the big thing that came out of that is they released the Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've been meaning to download it to try it out, because it is free to try it out. And the game's going to be free for Games Pass users in general.
Well,
multiplayer is free across the board. It's free to play as long as you have Xbox Gold.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, it's free to play the multiplayer, but also the game itself is going, if you have Games Pass, because if Games Pass be free.
Right.
But yeah, I thought about downloading it and trying it out. I might do that this weekend. I might, if I have time, maybe on Sunday, play it on stream or something, but I don't want to dedicate one of my normal stream nights to playing that. So,
I mean, honestly, I'd say it would be worth it, because I like coming from somebody that doesn't usually like playing games like that. Like, I had a lot of fun when I was in the one test flight for it. Like, it's a very polished shooter. Like, it feels like Halo. It feels like I remember Halo feeling, which is like a Bungie game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's technically the beta version. But anything you do in it, any money you spend, anything you unlock will all carry over into the proper release on December 8th. So I think that's just their way to get around, like, in case there's anything buggy in it. They're like, oh, well, it's not the full release yet. We still have, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was like a cool way to kind of end that stream. They also they played the original kind of reveal with The Rock and Bill Gates talking about the Xbox, and then they actually had The Rock record a new clip talking about Xbox. And I said this in our group chat, but like, that guy has come a long way in delivery of like a script. Like, in 2001 when he was on that stage, like, it was very, very bad. Like, you could tell he was like reading a teleprompter or something like that, and was just not used to having to do that. And then now it's just like, it seemed like he was just talking, like he wasn't necessarily reading something. He was just kind of like shooting the shit, and he made fun of himself, which is always good.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah. And then also, I forgot there was this Halo series happening at Paramount Plus. They had a trailer for that. Did not watch it because don't really care. But like, I feel like they've been trying to get a Halo series going for like a decade now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They have. They've had several movies and like one-off like animated things happen. Yeah, they've been trying for so long.
Wasn't there supposed to be one with on like the Xbox One, like when they were like all about TV? Remember like the original launch of the Xbox One?
Yeah, I remember them like I think I might actually own it or own whatever like animated series they did make.
No, I'm talking about they were working on a live action one. I think Lance Reddick was supposed to be in it, actually. Like, I think he was supposed to be cast as like Chief. And it was a thing that, because when the Xbox One originally launched, they were like staging it as like just this entertainment brand rather than a game console. And I believe it was kind of like what Sony did with Powers, where they were trying to do like their own entertainment stuff on the platform too. And I think it failed there, and then Xbox transitioned away from the whole entertainment aspect. I think it maybe went to like HBO for a little while, and now I guess they've finally landed on something happening at Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
So, and then the only other big thing that really came out of this was they released 70 plus new titles for backwards compat for between Xbox and 360. It's going to be the last group of games they add, though.
So it's not the full. It's not the full catalog.
No. So they basically said, and I have the whole thing in here, but I'm not going to read everything. But they essentially said that they've reached the end of what they can do due to either licensing, legal, or technical constraints. So like, they're never going to have backwards compatibility on games that just have crazy license deals. So like old Tony Hawk games, I don't think are backwards compatible. They might be, but I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Same thing with like old Guitar Hero and Rock Bands. Like, all that stuff you can play in the new versions for the most part, like the most recent ones. But like, I don't think that those games are technically backwards compatible either. And I'm sure there's just games with like weird technical stuff that it's just it was harder to try and make them play than was worth the time investment it would take to get it to happen. Mm-hmm. But still, like, I was scrolling through that list, and it was the list before they added 70 more games. There's a lot of fucking games on there, and it seems like they tried to go and get as many of the games that they were getting a lot of requests for as possible.
Yeah.
And apparently Phil Spencer's out there, like, kind of like encouraging people to like emulate old games, like not necessarily pirate them, but like find ways to like preserve them. So like, good on him. Like, he's like they're if you can't play them, like, find a way to preserve them. Like, if they're not available for just people to keep. And that was actually kind of part of like Xbox's statement regarding like the backwards compatibility too, is that like they know preserving that stuff is important, and they want to keep like the legacy like around for future generations. So there's a pretty good chance as like new consoles come out, they will just keep that backwards compatibility going. Like, so however many games are in that catalog now will just kind of perpetually be available until it gets to a point where they just can't reasonably keep them available. And it's also worth noting, just because they're backwards compatible, it seems like they're not necessarily definitely purchasable. Because I know I saw Jeff Gerstmann post that he tried to buy 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, and it was not available for purchase, but it is a backwards compatible game as part of this new list. So there was some talk that some games would be getting added to be able to be purchased again, but in some cases you might just need your disc. You might need to just pop your disc in, and it'll play on your Series X or your Xbox One. Yeah. But happy birthday, Xbox! I guess good on them for making it 20 years putting out stuff, especially after a real rocky 2010s. Like 2013 was not a good year for them.
No, but yeah, this. I mean, I didn't watch any of the Xbox anniversary. I think you sent it to us, but there was I think I was watching Legends because I was trying to catch up on that, and
probably,
in my opinion, that was a little bit more important.
I mean, like, you're not wrong. Like this was like 20 minutes. Like it ended very abruptly, it seemed. And frankly, like, if you didn't catch up on Legends, you were going to have to wait until next year to catch up on Legends. So, like, I get it. But how about the stuff going on with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever?
Yeah. So, I actually tweeted and I retweeted the post from, I believe it's from the Hollywood Reporter that I tweeted. It might have been a different one. But as of right now, filming has been suspended and delayed due to her being injured on set. Letitia Wright being injured on set. But now it also turns out, because COVID vaccine rules are getting, or COVID mandates in Hollywood and pretty much around the United States are getting a lot more strict. She might not even be able to come back into the country for a while because she's not going to get vaccinated and is not vaccinated.
Yeah, which so the movie is shut down till at least 2022, and that's from a report from a few weeks ago when it was just they have literally filmed everything they can film without her up to this point, while she was recovering from injury. But now, who knows when she'll be able to even come back into the country?
Yeah, which so like it raises a question, like how. First of all, she's anti-vax, which is stupid. And second, she's also released some really bad anti-LGBTQ and anti-trans tweets in the past. She has since deleted. I can't find them. I was trying to look them up. But like, she's not really a good role model. So how would people feel about maybe recasting such a pivotal character in a series like this? Like, when we've seen major recasts, we've seen them because like the guy who played Dumbledore died, or the woman who played the Oracle in The Matrix died. Like, and so they recasted them. But I don't think I've ever seen a recast in a movie like this.
I mean, Marvel hasn't actually, and not only that, like, Marvel actually has not recast any of their heroes to date.
No.
I think, honestly, when it comes down to the fact that, like, it's actually a health concern, and that she is not allowed into the country because of that. Like, if she's refusing to do it, like, that's her prerogative. Like, no one can force her to do it. But then, yeah, she is forfeiting that role, and, like, Marvel should look at other potential castings. Like, don't delay a movie that hundreds and hundreds of other people have busted their ass working on, because the person who is theoretically the star of the movie doesn't care about everyone else's well-being.
Which, I mean, and I'm not saying she's not the star. She's definitely going to be a co-star of some sort. But based on rumors, I'm hearing that M'Baku is going to be the next Black Panther. So, like,
I'm pretty sure it's mostly been confirmed that she is actually the lead for the movie. Like, the movie is supposed to be focused on her. Because it seems like they are writing it that T'Challa has also passed away. So, like, and like, if they're going off of any source material, when T'Challa has died in the comics, Shuri is actually the next in line to inherit the role of Black Panther.
Okay.
And so, like, it works. I could see them, I think if they hadn't very vocally said that they are not going to recast T'Challa, I think it might actually be a little more likely to see another one of the more prominent characters from the movie become Black Panther. But I think because of that, they might try and steer away from having another male step into the role right away.
Yeah.
And, like, having the character of Shuri do it would make sense. And actually, you know what? I was wrong. They did. It was early in it, but they recast War Machine. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah.
But like that was literally the first movie of the MCU. So like, who remembers Terrence Howard? Like at this point, like Don Cheadle has done that role way more.
Yeah, he is War Machine more so.
Yeah, and like Shuri hasn't like she was prominent in Black Panther, but she really wasn't prominent in the Avengers movies in any real way. So like to recast that role just because like the actress isn't going to be able to actually fulfill the role, like it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and it like she's been in she's played major parts in 2 movies at this point in the MCU. But yeah, she at this point you're delaying something and in turn delaying the rest of your plans because of one person. And at this point, in my opinion, she's not a good role model. I don't think she should be given the spotlight in a superhero film.
Which, I mean, that's a valid concern also.
Yeah. And so, so, Cobb, you're in the understanding of, yes, she should be recast. Like, Jordan, if there was a character or something in the media that you liked that was like this and was halting production, would you be in agreement of, like, I mean, like, it's a major character. Would you be in agreement? Like, hey, they should probably just recast this character because it just kind of makes sense to.
99 times out of 100, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's almost certainly some occasion where it's like, no, this person is that character. Just fucking stop, then. Like, if they're not going to be in it, the thing isn't worth making.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I agree with that.
This person is replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
but,
it's not like a Robert Downey Jr. thing where like she's been that character for a decade and it will be weird. It would be weird to immediately have somebody else step into that role. Which like they kind of got away with that by like you kill Tony Stark, like you don't have to use Tony Stark again forever if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she was not a prominent enough character, I feel, that having a different actress step into that part would hurt it that much. Like, it might be confusing for some people, but, like, beyond just the fact that, like, she isn't setting the best example for people, like, because of her stance on things, and, like, the injury is different. Like, she got hurt, that sucks. Like,
yeah.
Don't wish any harm to her. But, like, she is now forcing the production to completely shut down with no idea when it'll resume. Like, that puts all of the people that work on that movie in a weird position because I believe, like, the cast and stuff like that is one thing, but the crew, like, they're like contract. So like when they're done one movie, they go work on a different movie. And right now, like, they're in a position where like they probably can't just go work on another movie because they don't know when this one is going to resume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure there's some sort of like contract where like Disney keeps paying them, but like who knows if they're getting their full salaries and stuff like that, or if they are missing really good opportunities for films that like they're not getting to work on.
Yeah, mm-hmm. and it also brings in the chance of like for the best way for me to put it, the mustache to return. Even though the mustache was in Justice League and not in Marvel, like there's a chance that a lead character might pick up a role and go into filming and have to keep or remove something like a facial hair or whatever, that then they're going to have to superimpose during reshoots or whatever because they don't have it, or they're going to have to remove it.
It's okay, though. The MCU is Disney-owned. They got Industrial Light and Magic. Those guys will make it look fucking natural.
Yeah, yeah. Or they could just do what they did back in the original 60s Batman and just make up right over the mustache.
I mean, that's because Cesar Romero refused to fucking shave. But
he refused to take his mustache off, so they just... But like, even in Avengers, the original Avengers movie, the shawarma scene, the reason Chris Evans is facing away from the camera with his face to his head is because he was filming Snowpiercer at the time that they called him in to film that scene.
Yeah, because that was a last minute scene. That was filmed after the movie was edited.
Yeah, it was the very last thing they filmed for. They called him in for reshoots. They did that, and he couldn't get rid of the beard because contractually he needed it for Snowpiercer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that scene was actually filmed after the movie premiered. So you had like the Hollywood premiere, and then like a week later is when it's actually available for the general public. And I'm pretty sure it was filmed in like that week.
It was either filmed in that week or just not put on the Hollywood premiere till like the very first viewing.
Yeah.
Of Avengers post that Hollywood premiere.
But no, I agree. Like if she is unable to do the role because of personal beliefs, like then like they should recast her. Like it's that simple. Because like frankly, if she's against the vaccine, then she's also probably not keen on like masks and social distancing, which is just putting hundreds and hundreds of people at risk on the set of those movies.
Exactly.
And I don't know if she's anti-mask or if she's just anti-vax. There can be difference. I'm not trying to support one belief or the other or say one belief is better than the other. They're both stupid. But if you're just you can be anti-vax but not be anti-mask.
You're not
100%.
wrong, but
I'm just saying like there is the Venn diagram of people that are against the COVID vaccine that also don't want to wear a mask is damn
almost
close to a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, yeah, absolutely. Like, I totally agree. But it's, like, I don't know where she fits on the anti-mask area. I think it's more of, she's not, from what I've read, from what I've seen, she's not like I don't believe that the virus is real. I believe the virus, she believes the virus is real. She just doesn't trust the science of the vaccine and doesn't trust vaccines in general. But, I mean, we probably already have Gwyneth Paltrow in the MCU that also is probably very much anti-vax.
You know what my favorite fucking Gwyneth Paltrow thing is? I was just reading this the other day. Apparently part of her like health regimen is every day she drinks a bottle of alkaline water with a lemon spritz. Lemon fucking makes it not alkaline anymore.
Yeah.
So she drinks water with lemon.
Basically, yeah.
Good. I hate it. Like, I've been watching the Chef Show to go to sleep lately, and I skip over the episode that has her on. Well, no, I can't because it's the episode that also has all the rest of the Avengers stuff on it. So, like, her part I will fast forward. I'm like, I don't care about you at all.
Yeah, no, I get that. So are you guys ready for me to very quickly review a bunch of shit?
Yeah, rapid fire. Let's go.
All right. So I watched a whole bunch of stuff this week.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to make notes of what time it is. Sorry.
It's 7:45.
So I watched Eternals.
I heard it's all right.
It's not bad. It's definitely not the best movie. It's not as bad as everyone keeps making it out to be. It should have been a Disney Plus series.
So, my question from between Thor 2 and the best Marvel movie, whichever you would say the best Marvel movie, where would this lie in between?
Oh, it's like a dead center. Like,
so is it better than Black Widow, or even with Black Widow, or slightly better?
It's honestly around even with Black Widow. I think maybe I might, if I was actually sitting here and ranking all like 22, 23 movies, it might fall under Black Widow. Like if I really sat down and just thought about all of the movies, but it's definitely not. Look, it is better than Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's not a Marvel movie, though.
I don't care. I'm setting that expectation right there. It is better than Too Fast, Too Furious. It is also better than Fast and Furious, the fourth movie. Not as good as Fast 5.
Okay. Because I haven't seen it yet. I was supposed to see it opening weekend, but I had to bring my dog to the vet, and it took over an hour before they even got to see him. So I missed the movie. But I've been told that it is very much like go into it basically expect the Odyssey and not just like a singular story. Expect something over a long period of time that's more epic and less of like superheroics.
Yeah, so it's very long. It's like 2.5 hours, and it's broken up where it jumps around in time because they're the Eternals. They have literally been around for forever, like for the extent of human existence.
Yeah,
I think the time frame is actually like 7,000 years. Like the movie kind of jumps across 7,000 years of time.
Yeah,
and I think that stuff's really interesting. I think like the whole cast really good. Even like I'm not a huge Angelina Jolie fan, and I don't think she's a bad actress. The movies that she does, I don't generally like. Like she just doesn't. She's not in movies I enjoy.
Are you saying you didn't like Geely?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It was an Angelina Jolie movie.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. I think it was called Gia.
Wait, are you thinking of the Jennifer Lopez movie?
No.
I know what movie you're thinking of, but now I'm fucking blanking on the name of it.
Who, me or him?
No, Richie.
Well, I'm pulling up her IMDb, and I'm just gonna rattle off a bunch of movies that she's in, and be like, "You didn't like that? You didn't like that? Hold on." All filmography. So you didn't like the Maleficent movie?
Nope.
Oh, that was a good movie.
I didn't even make it through the whole thing. I was so bored. But again, like, I don't think she was bad in it per se. I just don't like the movies she does.
You didn't like the Tomb Raider movies?
Nope, they were garbage. The 2018 one,
so
much
bad.
better.
Is Gia, not Geely. Gia, I believe is what I'm thinking.
Geely, I think, is that Jennifer Lopez movie that had Ben Affleck in it.
Yes.
Like that was like peak Bennifer.
So it's Gia. You didn't like Gia, which it was a
Never even heard of it.
movie. You probably never would have seen it. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Loved Hackers. Hackers is her best movie.
Sky Captain: The World Tomorrow. That was such a good movie.
You know what? I forgot she was in that one. That one wasn't bad.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I mean, I like Brad Pitt. Like, he was good in that movie. That wasn't a good movie, though.
Let's see. Beowulf was alright. Kung Fu Panda.
I've never seen any of the Kung Fu Pandas.
They're alright.
Wanted.
Like, again, like, it was a mediocre movie.
And now we're in current day.
But yeah, like again, I don't think she's a bad actress. I just generally don't like the movies she's in, or like I find them kind of middling at best. But like, she was actually, I really liked her character in this one. She was kind of probably the most diverse character. Like, not like diverse is the wrong word. She kind of had the most going on, like, characteristically, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole cast was good. Kumail Nanjiani is amazing. He's just hilarious in it. And he does finger guns, which is great. Like, his attack is basically finger guns, but he actually shoots shit when he does it.
Okay.
But one of the internals, it's the black dude that Rob Stark breaks his table from IKEA in the trailer. He is basically like Magic Tony Stark. So, like, you know, in all the Iron Man movies, how, like, Tony and Spider-Man did it in the last Spider-Man too, where, like, Tony does, like, the 3D imaging and he just fucking puts the holograms together and then throws it at a computer and the computer just prints his Iron Man armor.
Yeah.
That's basically what this Eternal's power is. He just fucking, like, he creates holograms, puts them together, and it like 3D prints shit out of thin air. It's cool as hell.
He's 3D printer man. Yeah,
basically, yeah. But yeah, like, the characters were all actually really cool. Probably the best one was the little girl they had playing Sprite. I think the girl is like 13 or 14 in real life, but she's playing a character that is basically stuck in a child's body, but that is 7,000 years old.
Okay.
And like, that girl did a really good job of seeming like she was much older than she actually was, while also still being a child. But yeah, like, I think the thing that got this movie down was it had too much history. Like, and not that the history was bad, but it was too much to try and fit into a 2.5 hour movie and still have like a cohesive, interesting movie. So like, if this had been a Disney Plus series and they could do it like 5-8 episodes, whatever, and have it stretch, 5 to 8 hours of content, they could have told this amazing story through the ages. And even if it was sort of framed around the present day stuff going on, and just had, like, every episode has some sort of, like, a flashback or something, because that's kind of how the movie went anyway.
They could have arrowed it, basically. Like, every episode is focusing on, like, one of the major Marvel events.
Or Lost.
Flashes back. Or Lost, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, not a bad movie by any, like, the people that are calling it garbage and the worst MCU movie, like, it's not. Like, they haven't seen Thor: The Dark World.
I had somebody, like, I posted online, like, I want to see this movie, and they just responded, don't. I'm like, why not? Because it's absolute garbage. I'm like, I will make my own opinion. And they turn around, like, they introduced Batman in the MCU, and I'm like, cool. I don't care.
No, they don't.
Apparently, like, and Eric even, he's like, well, they mentioned Alfred Pennyworth and Superman by name. So, like...
Oh, yeah, yes. So in that case, they basically established that DC Comics as an entertainment platform exists in the MCU.
Exactly. And so somebody hated it because Batman is in the MCU, or I don't know. They just they went into it, and again, like anytime I've talked about it, even on stream, like I'm like, look, I have not seen it, but from what I hear, go into it not expecting a superhero film. Expect something else. Expect something more of an epic, more of a tale over a long period of time. And like everyone who's saying that it's garbage is probably saying it's garbage because they're looking at Endgame and Iron Man and all of this other shit that Marvel's done, and not like this whole world building thing, which is what the Eternals is.
And I think that is probably part of the problem, is the last few movies that people are remembering are the Avengers movies that basically built up to a confrontation with Thanos, who is arguably one of like the top 3 Marvel villains at this point that they've had in any of their media. So I'll say it this way. In Eternals, the enemies, super boring. They're generic. There's nothing really all that exciting about them. The villain, interesting, would have been better in a series, though. Because it's, again, like, between time constraints and having, like, a fairly large cast and a lot of time they're trying to... Because they're basically trying to explain to you, like, what these guys were doing for 7,000 years.
Yeah.
Without going, like, decade by decade. But, I mean, look, you got to see Jon Snow and Robb Stark act together again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that since, like, 2011. Because, like, they never saw each other after the first season.
And back then, they were children.
Yeah, and, like, honestly, like, I cannot actually think of the actor's name, but Robb Stark. Like, he was really good as Icarus. He was very much like Superman in it, which is funny. Because that's actually where the Superman reference comes from, if I remember correctly. But there's a little kid that basically calls him Superman and says something about wearing a cape, and he, like, squats down to the kid and smiles and says, "I don't wear a cape."
No capes.
But yeah, like, I don't get all the hate for it. Like, it was enjoyable enough. It was a little too long, and again, like most Marvel movies, the enemy and the villains were the least interesting part of it. But, like, in this case, the villain would have been way cooler in a series that could have fleshed it out more. And, like, kind of, like, left that suspense hanging more.
Yeah.
But other than Eternals, I also watched the new Rock, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot movie, Red Notice, on Netflix. And
I've seen that. It looks interesting. I didn't watch it yet.
Oh, you said I've seen it. I thought you've seen it.
Like, I've seen, like, trailers and whatever, but I haven't watched it.
You're aware of its existence.
Yeah.
It is fine. It, too, is better than Too Fast, Too Furious. Not as good as Fast 5.
Come on, Too Fast, Too Furious is not that bad.
It is the worst of the Fast and Furious movies.
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't say much when you're talking about cinematic masterpieces.
I mean, that's valid. Yeah, but this movie is definitely it's paint by numbers for a heist movie. The twist, that there is a twist in it, did not 100% see it coming, but expected a variation of it, I guess I should say. I mean, The Rock and Ryan Reynolds are very entertaining together. Gal Gadot isn't in it enough. So minor spoiler, she's kind of the villain as far as this movie has a villain. If you read the blurb for it, Ryan Reynolds is an art thief. So is Gal Gadot. They're rival art thieves basically, and The Rock is an FBI profiler.
Okay.
Who is literally trying to catch them both. And he basically gets tangled with Ryan Reynolds in a thing, and Gal Gadot is kind of like the antagonist against them. And she plays a really good antagonist, like a very good bad guy in this movie. And there's just not enough of her in it, unfortunately. But otherwise, it's very paint by numbers as far as like a heist movie goes. It was definitely something. It feels like they were just trying to set up like a franchise. Like this was just them kind of doing a quick layup to start a franchise, because it ends in such a way where there's definitely going to be another one. Especially because it is like the biggest opening day views for a Netflix movie ever. Which, who would have thought it? 3 of the biggest names in Hollywood had a huge movie release on a streaming platform, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't awful though. Like it had some laughs. I wouldn't. Don't go out of your way to watch it. But if you're just looking for a movie to watch, it's at least it's like a fun popcorn movie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got some cool history things, but not real history. It's definitely fake history. And it's got all it's got Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds and The Rock being The Rock. Like, if you like those things in movies, you'll at least have a good time.
And I do like those things in movies.
Yeah, so
you'll
have
a good time.
Exactly. And then to keep on the rock train, I watched Jungle Cruise.
I've heard that was entertaining.
It was. So it's on. It's now part of Disney Plus. You don't have to pay the extra fee to watch it anymore.
Okay.
And it's The Rock and Emily Blunt, and I think Emily Blunt's great and stuff too. Like, I actually can't think of a movie that I've seen with her that wasn't at least passingly good. And yeah, so so the movie is set in like the early 1900s. She plays somebody who is trying to find this legendary like cure-all, basically, that's hidden. It's hidden somewhere in the Amazon rainforest.
Okay.
And her and her brother are relatively wealthy, but it's at a time in the world where like women are basically like frowned upon, like they're secretaries, they're not anything else. And they try to get funding by her basically writing a paper that her brother reads to like a group of old white men to try and get them to fund them go into the Amazon, and that fails. So they kind of just make their way on their own, and they hire The Rock to drive them to this place because he claims to know where it's at. And there's also Nazis hunting them. Or no, I'm sorry, this is pre-Nazis, so they're just Germans. Because this is during World War I or just after World War I. I forget exactly where it falls. But the head, like, German bad guy, I think I said Russians, didn't I?
No, you
said Germans.
Okay. The head German bad guy is Jesse Plemons. I don't know if you guys know him from anything, but he's always fun and stuff.
The name's familiar.
He's a guy that looks like a lot of other guys too. But it was a fun movie. It was 100% them trying to duplicate the success of the original Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. Like it's you could almost like line things up with like plot points of stuff, and even the way some of like the villains look in it, very much reminiscent of the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because that original Pirates movie, it's a good fucking movie. But I feel like it tried a little too hard to recapture that, and it did hurt it a little bit. But it was overall actually super, super entertaining. It was fun. There's a twist in this one too that I did not see coming. And
did not see coming. Ha ha! German Nazi.
Yeah, but this is before the Nazis, man.
But they did not see coming.
The Germans didn't see the Nazis coming either.
That, you know what? That's fair. That is accurate. But yeah, I would, if you guys have Disney Plus, and you want to just watch kind of like a silly popcorn movie, like, you could do far worse. And like, it's got a good cast. Oh, fucking Paul Giamatti's in it.
Okay. Anything that Paul Giamatti's in, you gotta watch.
And he plays like a scoundrel dude. Like he's down in the Amazon buying up all the boats. Like, he's that guy. And he's always good and stuff. Love Paul Giamatti. But
yeah, me too.
But yeah, it was fun. Again, I'm trying to think of if there was anything like especially worth mentioning without spoiling anything. But yeah, no, it's worth checking out at some point, I'd say. And then Rich, you might care about this a little bit. I'm not sure if there's any place that you could watch it, but over the last like week or two, Erica and I watched the anime Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, I hear it's really good.
Yeah, so it's only one season so far. I think a second season has been announced for it. It's kind of like a Bleach, like a Bleach sort of setup where there are demons and they call it cursed energy. And so they're not actually demons, they're curses. And not normal people can't see curses. You have to be born with this ability to see them. And generally, if you can see them, you can also utilize cursed energy. And it follows the main character. He can't see them at the beginning, but he's just like ridiculously strong, like unnaturally so. In the very first episode, one of the first things that happens is he is part of like the paranormal club at school, only because the club needed at least 3 members to be a club, and he felt bad that it only had 2 members. So like, he doesn't even actually care about that stuff. He just wants to make sure the people that can do it can be in the club. Okay. And like, one of the sports club coaches tries to force him into like track or something. Mm-hmm. And basically like makes him do a shot put competition. And this guy is like, he was a former world record holder in the show for shot put, and he throws it really far. And then the main character's like looking at it, he's like, can I just throw this however I want? And he's like throwing the shot put up and down like a baseball. And then just literally like pulls back and like launches it like a baseball. like all the way across the field, like way further than you can reasonably throw a shot put. And like he has no special powers. He's just like that sort of strong guy. And then like shit happens and like a curse attacks and he ends up
It's available on HBO Max.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that. Yeah, because you know what? It's a Crunchyroll dub. So that makes sense. It just got put onto Funimation because of like the deal. But he ends up eating a demon's finger. And basically like now he has to eat all of the demon's fingers because he might be the only human capable of doing it. And it's like the strongest demon ever. So eventually he's going to eat the last finger and then probably have to be killed because the demon will take him over. But it's got a really interesting world and set of rules kind of built around it. And like how each person kind of has their own specialty and way of attacking. So Itadori is the main guy. I finally remembered his name. When he finally learns how to like do stuff, he's basically just a brawler. Like he punches, and when he punches with this cursed energy. One of the other characters, who, Rich, if you care, is actually voiced by Robbie Damon.
I think you might have brought that up. You might have talked to me about it earlier this.
Yeah, so his character,
great.
Yeah, his character can like summon familiars, like cursed dogs and frogs and stuff like that, almost like a Naruto summoning. Like he can just summon these things to like help him fight or to capture and contain enemies, things like that. One of the main female character, she almost does like voodoo curses. She has a straw doll, and if she can get something of the person's and attach it to the straw doll, she can then like hit it with a hammer and cause actual damage to it. And like just weird stuff like that. And it was a really cool, interesting show.
Okay.
And I'm hopeful that a second season happens sooner rather than later, because it sort of left off after like they have a school festival arc in a way, only it's full, or I'm sorry, a sports festival arc.
Uh-huh.
But it's just battle. So like it's the two different jujutsu sorcerer schools kind of have to compete. And that kind of happens, and a bunch of stuff kind of gets like revealed and done, and then the season's over, and it's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is like in the vein of shows that you tend to like, so you'd actually probably enjoy it a bunch once you catch up on all the CW shows.
I'm almost there, man. Almost there.
You just have the Flash to do now, right?
Yeah, and I have to keep up on... I have the Flash and all of this season's episodes of the other shows, minus the first for both. I actually watched the first and second for Legends, so I have like 4 more for Legends and 5 more for Batwoman. And
but you do have to watch Superman and Lois.
I'm not too focused on getting that done because the new season hasn't even been announced.
No, it comes out in January.
Oh, well then I've got time.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean you had to do it like this week. I just meant like once you catch up on everything and you're on that like weekly roll, then you can... I would say then you can watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and then you can watch Superman and Lois.
It's with Superman and Lois, and even with the Flash. With the Flash, I have 5 weeks to watch all of last season and this season. Superman and Lois, I have 3 months, probably, give or take.
That's true. That is very true.
I've got time. I only had to do Batwoman and Legends so quick because their 5th episode or 6th episode airs tonight. So I got it done just under wire.
Yeah. And then I mean you'll be able to I assume in the next month or two probably be able to watch Supergirl, because I assume that'll probably hit one of the streaming platforms sooner rather than later, since it was the final season.
It should be on Netflix within 2 months probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, so the last thing I watched though, I watched the 2 existing seasons of Ted Lasso.
Mm-hmm.
And that show is really good, guys.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I never actually got that free, what was it, like 6 months or whatever for...
Yeah, of Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, I never got that. And so I'm missing out on it, and I hear it's great. And it frustrates me how good I hear it is, because I believe we talked about this last week. I watched Fake Doctors Real Friends, and for probably the first 5 to 10 minutes of every episode of the Scrubs rewatch show, they talk about how good Ted Lasso is.
No, and like that's it. Really is that good.
I know, and I'm not mad at the show. I want to watch it, but I can't because I don't have Apple TV, and I'm fuck paying for it, because fuck having any more streaming services.
Honestly, I would 100% say that, like, when you have the time that you can sit down and just... They're half hour to 45-minute episodes, generally. And I think it's 22 or 23 episodes for the 2 seasons. When you have the time that you can just kind of binge them, sign up for the free, like, 7 days or whatever. Or even if you have to pay for 1 month of it, it's 100% worth that 1 month to just binge it all. And then just pay for the 1 month when seasons wrap up. Because, like, Drew, I think you would even enjoy Ted Lasso.
Yeah, probably.
So, do you guys know what it's about in any way, shape, or form?
It's like an American football coach that goes over to England and coaches a British soccer team.
Yeah, but it's even better than that. So, he was a Division II football coach for, like, a Kansas City college that, like, or a Kansas college that, like, they weren't even, like, a good team. Like, he apparently, like, he got them, I think he got them to a championship. So this kind of mid-league, Premier League football team, like, hired him and his assistant coach to come coach their team. Strictly because the owner was mad at her ex-husband and wanted to ruin the team. But Jason Sudeikis' Ted Lasso is such a nice fucking guy that just everyone that doesn't like him at the beginning just loves him by the end. Mm-hmm. Like, he literally becomes friends with everybody, and he is such a positive and nice guy. And just some of the shit that, like, is said in this show. So the British like their tea. The first time somebody gives him tea and he sips it, he immediately spits it back out and says, "This is garbage water." He also, a couple times he is given fizzy water and doesn't know it's fizzy and proceeds to immediately spit it out, including at one point spitting it all over his boss. Just mouthful of water all over her. It was great. But the show also has some of the funniest characters, like, in anything. There's one character, Roy Kent. He is, like, the elder statesman on the team. Does nothing but curse and hate everybody. To the point where, like, he watches his niece a lot, and his niece keeps getting in trouble at school for cursing the way he does. There was one episode where it was like a Christmas episode, and his niece had been picked on for having bad breath, and they find out that she does have really bad breath. So he literally just takes her around and knocks on everybody's door in his neighborhood until he finds a dentist. And, like, curses at them the whole time for, like, not being dentists. And, yeah, it's hilarious. It is probably the best show I've seen this year. Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. But, like, I understand why it has been nominated for, like, every TV award.
Yeah. It does sound like a very great show, and it's a Bill Lawrence show.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a Bill Lawrence show, which is why they talk about it a lot on Scrubs. And it's also, I believe, Zach Braff directed, like, the 2nd or 3rd episode, which is why, like, he was going to whatever award show was last week.
I think it was, like, the Golden Globes.
Whatever TV, maybe it was the Golden Globes, I don't know. But he was nominated as Best Director for that episode that he directed.
Oh, nice. I wonder what episode he directed. I'll have to look it up.
I think it was like 2nd or 3rd episode. It wasn't late in the series.
Yeah, I'll have to look, because I'm honestly not sure which one it would have been. But yeah,
Biscuits.
I mean, that I don't know the episode titles, so I'll have to. I'll look and see what the synopsis is of season 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I remember what that was. We watched it so quickly though that it's hard to separate episodes like that. But yeah, such a good show. Like I'm kind of upset that I waited as long as I did to watch it, but I'm also glad because I was able to just watch the full 2 seasons all kind of at once. So yeah.
So it's the episode where it's his first day coaching.
Oh, okay.
Despite of all the negativity thrown at him from the fans and Rebecca's initial disinterest in him and his daily cookies or biscuits is what it says. Little tag on Luke.
Oh yeah, he makes her a little box of like shortbread cookies every day, and I don't know that she ever finds out that he's actually like making them himself, because she sends her assistant to every bakery in London to try and find those cookies because they're so good. Yeah, it's one of those shows where like it's very rarely like negative funny the way like The Office was. Like, you know, like The Office was funny because they were all kind of like everyone was kind of shitty to each other in that show, but not like as shitty as like Always Sunny.
Yeah.
In this show, it's just like there's there's one guy who is very much a piece of shit in like the first season and kind of gets better as it goes on. But even like Roy, who is very aggressive and like outwardly mean, is actually super nice and caring. He's just very harsh with the way he like talks and everything. But like everything is just kind of always positive. And when it does take that like emotional turn, like Ted has a bunch of panic attacks as the series goes on. Like they make that work, and it doesn't feel out of place in an otherwise funny show.
Okay.
And they fucking play Rick Astley like 3 times in an episode. Rebecca, like that, she is the owner of the team. Her dad dies, I believe, and so she's staying at her mom's house, and her mom has basically like all of the smart devices set up to play "Never Gonna Give You Up" as an alarm in the whole house every day. So like she literally gets woken up one morning to "Never Gonna Give You Up," and then while doing the eulogy at the church, kind of like stumbles over things, and then she starts singing "Never Gonna Give You Up" to the point where the whole church starts singing it with her.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, I think that's probably it, other than the book club will be next week, and we are going to be listening to 3 episodes of the Giant Beastcast from giantbomb.com. It's their holiday specials from 2016, and then the 2-parter from 2017/2018. So it's episodes 84, 134, and 136. Have either of you guys started them yet?
No.
When do you think I would have had time to start them?
I don't know, man. What else do you...
Been watching CW shows during work this entire week.
That's fair. Well, you only have another week to listen to them.
What is it, like 9 hours?
It's like 6, and you can listen to it at like 1.5 times, and it sounds fine.
Oh, then I'll have it done. I'll have it done.
Yeah, like I listened to the first one, the heist one. I forgot how goofy that system was, and that like I remembered that they had like a robot on their team. Totally forgot how just fucking stupid the robot was, though. Like even just its name, like Vinny trying to come up with what he has a name and then tries to make it an acronym, and like on the fly tries to decide what the acronym is. Man, those were good times. I hope they do one of those this year. But otherwise, that's probably going to be the end of the show, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
Nope.
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, in that case, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can support us by going to your favorite podcast platform: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the fun places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media. We are at @one_quest on Twitter and Instagram, or facebook.com/onequestonline. And Richie has been posting stuff on there a lot more frequently than I ever did, because I'm fucking bad at that.
You need hashtags, dude. Anytime you post, you don't do any hashtags. You need hashtags.
So I don't ever post on Twitter. That's auto for that stuff. Usually if I post anything, I'll post like pictures on Instagram, and then I do some hashtags. But
you don't need hashtags. Like
I said, I don't actually post it to Twitter. WordPress does that automatically. Same thing with Facebook. Like when the episode gets posted to them, it's automatically posted. But yeah, you can also find our YouTube channel, youtube.com/onequest or OneQuest Video. Apologies. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
See yas.